Did you know that some UK cities are seeing crime rates rise by over 15% in just 1 year? Or that entire neighborhoods are facing permanent flood risks by 2026? Shocking, right? But here's the real question. What if your city is quietly becoming unlivable, and you don't even realize it yet? From councils going bankrupt to air pollution levels breaching international health standards, parts of the UK are facing serious issues that could dramatically impact your safety, your health, and even your financial future. And while politicians debate solutions, everyday people are the ones stuck dealing with the fallout. Some cities are changing so fast, they may be completely different places just a year from now. In this video, we're revealing 10 UK cities you might want to leave before 2026, and more importantly, why. The facts might shock you, and what you hear could help you make one of the most important decisions of your life. Number 1. Luton. Luton has been making headlines for all the wrong reasons, and not just in passing news segments. In 2024, the town experienced a shocking 18% rise in violent crimes, according to the Office for National Statistics. That includes increases in knife-related incidents, gang activity, and drug trafficking. Police have reported a significant surge in youth-involved crime, with several neighborhoods now considered high-risk zones. While Luton was once viewed as a relatively affordable commuter town close to London, it's now becoming known as one of the least safe areas in the southeast. But crime isn't the only concern. Luton is also battling with overstretched public services, including long wait times for GP appointments, crowded schools, and reduced funding for local programs. In 2023, Luton Borough Council faced serious budgetary strain, forcing cutbacks that impacted everything from road maintenance to social housing repairs. Residents have reported a noticeable decline in the overall quality of life, with many saying they feel abandoned by local authorities. What used to be a bustling town with potential now feels like a place slowly buckling under pressure. So what does this mean for the average resident? Simply put, daily life is becoming more stressful, more dangerous, and less sustainable. If you're raising a family or planning for the future, the long-term outlook in Luton is far from encouraging. Some former residents have already made the move to nearby areas like St Albans or Hitchin, where crime is lower, schools are better funded, and the overall environment feels safer. It's not about panic. It's about paying attention to the signs and acting before conditions worsen. Because if current trends continue, Luton could be one of the hardest places to live in the UK by 2026. Number 2. Bradford. Bradford has found itself on multiple watch lists over the past few years, and not for good reasons. In 2024, it was ranked among the top 5 most polluted cities in the UK, with air quality levels consistently breaching World Health Organization safety limits. The most concerning issue, PM 2.5 particles, tiny pollutants that penetrate deep into the lungs and bloodstream, have been recorded at dangerously high levels, especially in inner-city areas. Long-term exposure to this kind of air pollution has been directly linked to asthma, lung disease, and even early death, particularly in children and the elderly. The problem is amplified by dense traffic, aging infrastructure, and a lack of green spaces. Many residents are now reporting more frequent respiratory problems, while schools are struggling to manage increased health-related absences. What's worse is that pollution in Bradford isn't evenly distributed. Areas with lower-income households are often the hardest hit, creating a troubling cycle where the most vulnerable communities face the highest health risks. Despite some council initiatives aimed at reducing emissions, progress has been painfully slow, and the city's environmental health continues to deteriorate. If you're thinking long-term about your health, your children's well-being, and the value of your home, Bradford raises some serious red flags. Some families have already started relocating to nearby towns like Ilkley or Skipton, which offer cleaner air, better schools, and a healthier environment overall. Bradford has a rich history and a strong sense of community, but the current challenges are too big to ignore. If air quality continues to decline, and public health keeps taking the hit, this could be a city where staying comes with real, daily risks. The question is, how long can you afford to wait? Number 3. Birmingham. Birmingham, the UK's second-largest city, is facing an economic crisis that's sending shockwaves through every part of daily life. In 2023, Birmingham City Council declared effective bankruptcy, issuing what's known as a Section 114 notice. This means the council can no longer make new spending commitments, and drastic budget cuts have already started to take effect. From bin collections to public libraries, services that residents once took for granted are now being slashed or suspended altogether. What was once a proud industrial powerhouse is now struggling to keep its basic systems running. These financial troubles aren't abstract. They are already impacting schools, public transport, and even social care programs. Parents are reporting overcrowded classrooms and fewer support services for children with special needs. Bus and train routes are being reduced, making it harder for workers and students to get around the city efficiently. At the same time, council tax is expected to rise, meaning residents will pay more for far less in return. It's a frustrating and unsustainable situation, especially for those who have lived in Birmingham for decades and are watching their city crumble under the weight of mismanagement. For many, the writing is on the wall. While Birmingham still has potential and vibrant communities, the current economic trajectory raises serious concerns for anyone considering their future there. Some residents are already relocating to nearby areas like Slough or Coventry, where public services are more stable and infrastructure remains intact. The truth is, when a city's own government can't balance the books or protect essential services, the risk doesn't just lie in statistics. It directly affects your quality of life, your safety, and your ability to build a future. Staying in Birmingham right now could mean paying a high price for the city's mistakes. Number 4. Blackpool. Blackpool might still be known for its iconic tower and seaside charm, but behind the bright lights is a deepening crisis that's pushing residents to leave in growing numbers. Once a thriving holiday destination, Blackpool is now grappling with one of the highest unemployment rates in the UK. As the tourism industry continues to shrink and seasonal jobs become more unstable, local opportunities are drying up. In 2024, the town recorded a 10% rise in long-term unemployment, with youth joblessness among the highest in England. For many, the dream of rebuilding Blackpool's economy feels more distant than ever. The decline of steady work has created a ripple effect across the entire community. Areas that once catered to visitors are now filled with boarded-up shops, decaying hotels, and neglected properties. Blackpool has also seen a surge in mental health issues, substance abuse, and homelessness, often tied to the lack of opportunities and resources. Public health officials have expressed concern over rising rates of depression and addiction. It's not just about lost jobs. It's about a town losing its identity and stability, leaving families unsure of their future. If you're living in Blackpool and hoping for things to turn around soon, the reality is that recovery may take years, if not longer. That's why more and more locals are relocating to cities like Preston or even the outskirts of Manchester, where job markets are more active and economic growth is consistent. Staying in Blackpool right now means facing an uphill battle daily. Unless there is significant and sustained investment in infrastructure, job creation, and community support, Blackpool may continue its downward spiral, making it one of the most difficult places to live in the UK by 2026. Number 5. Sunderland. Sunderland is facing a quiet but significant crisis. People are leaving, and they are not coming back. Over the past few years, the city has seen a steady population decline, with young professionals and families choosing to relocate in search of better opportunities. According to the latest government data, Sunderland has experienced a net population loss for 3 consecutive years, a clear sign that many no longer see a future there. This outflow is not just about job opportunities. It's about quality of life, economic stagnation, and a growing sense of being left behind. The consequences of this decline are becoming increasingly visible. With fewer people comes less investment, which leads to reduced services, fewer businesses, and a shrinking local economy. Many high streets are struggling, and public facilities like libraries, leisure centers, and community programs are being scaled back or shut down entirely. Schools and healthcare services are under strain, not because of overpopulation, but because of a lack of funding tied to a declining tax base. For those who stay, the city is slowly becoming harder to live in, especially for young families and the elderly who rely on consistent community services. While Sunderland still holds cultural significance and has a proud working-class heritage, the current trends point toward a future where things may get worse before they get better. Nearby cities like Newcastle upon Tyne offer stronger job markets, better transport links, and more vibrant city centres, which is why they are becoming popular alternatives for those looking to move. Sunderland's challenges aren't hopeless, but waiting around for things to improve could mean sacrificing years of your life to uncertainty and decline. If you're planning ahead, this might be the time to consider whether staying is really worth the risk. Number 6. Newport. Newport, located along the River Usk in South Wales, is facing a growing threat that's impossible to ignore: flooding. Due to its low-lying geography and proximity to rising sea levels, Newport has been flagged as one of the UK's most at-risk cities for climate-related flooding. According to the UK Climate Resilience Programme, by 2026, large parts of the city, particularly those near the riverbanks and coastline, could face regular and severe flood events. For homeowners, this doesn't just mean inconvenience. It means rising insurance costs, property damage, and a very real risk of displacement. The impact is already being felt. Several neighborhoods in Newport have experienced flash flooding in the past 2 years alone, causing road closures, school disruptions, and major damage to homes and local businesses. The City Council has introduced some flood defenses, but experts warn that these measures may not be enough if rainfall intensity and sea levels continue to rise. What's even more alarming is that the people affected most are often those with the fewest resources to recover: families on fixed incomes, elderly residents, and renters without the protection of long-term insurance coverage. For many, the decision to stay in Newport is becoming harder to justify. The emotional and financial toll of constant flood threats can be overwhelming. Some residents are already relocating inland to higher ground areas like Cwmbran or Abergavenny, where flood risk is significantly lower and the lifestyle is more stable. While Newport has a lot to offer in terms of location and community, the environmental risks are escalating fast. If projections hold true, Newport could soon become one of the least secure places to live in the UK, not because of crime or economy, but because nature is rewriting the rules. Number 7. Leicester. Leicester is a city known for its rich culture and diversity, but beneath the surface, it's grappling with a serious healthcare crisis. Over the past year, the strain on local NHS services has reached a breaking point. In 2025, Leicester recorded some of the longest GP wait times in England, with some patients reporting delays of 3 to 4 weeks just to see a doctor. Hospitals are overwhelmed, A&E departments are overcrowded, and the number of cancelled operations has steadily increased. For residents, this means one thing: access to basic healthcare is no longer guaranteed. This growing pressure is largely due to a combination of rapid population growth and underfunding, leaving the system unable to cope. Many clinics are short-staffed, forcing remaining GPs and nurses to handle more patients than ever before. This not only increases burnout among medical staff, but also leads to lower quality care for patients. Chronic illnesses go untreated for longer, mental health services are stretched thin, and those with urgent needs often face endless delays. For families with young children, elderly relatives, or ongoing health concerns, Leicester is quickly becoming a very difficult place to stay healthy. People are starting to look for alternatives, quieter areas in the Midlands like Loughborough or Market Harborough, where GP practices are less congested and healthcare services are more accessible. While Leicester still has many positives, the day-to-day reality for its residents is changing fast. When you can't rely on timely medical help, it's more than just inconvenient. It can become life-threatening. If the NHS strain continues and funding doesn't catch up, staying in Leicester might mean putting your health and your family's well-being at unnecessary risk. That's a gamble fewer and fewer people are willing to take. Number 8. Hull. Hull is facing a quiet but serious decline, one that's being felt most painfully in its aging and crumbling infrastructure. Once a major port city with industrial significance, Hull is now struggling to maintain even the most basic systems that make daily life function. A 2024 housing inspection report found that over 40% of rental properties in Hull failed to meet minimum safety and living standards. Issues like mold, poor insulation, outdated plumbing, and broken heating systems are increasingly common, especially in lower-income areas. For many residents, this has turned day-to-day living into a constant battle with their own home. But it's not just housing that's falling behind. Roads are riddled with potholes, public transport is unreliable, and investment in citywide development is stalling. Local councils have cited limited funding and rising maintenance costs as the main reasons for these delays, but the result is the same. Hull is being left behind while other cities modernize. For younger generations and working professionals, the lack of basic amenities and connectivity makes Hull feel disconnected, not just physically, but economically and socially as well. Residents are finding it harder to get around, access services, or feel proud of the place they live in. As the city continues to deteriorate, many are making the difficult decision to relocate. Nearby places like York or Beverley offer a significantly higher quality of life, cleaner, better maintained, and more future-focused. Hull still has potential, and its people remain resilient. But without a major shift in priorities and funding, it risks becoming a place where opportunities shrink and problems multiply. If you value safety, comfort, and access to modern services, staying in Hull much longer might mean accepting a lower standard of living with no clear sign of change. Number 9. Slough. Slough might sit just a short train ride from central London, but for many of its residents, the convenience no longer outweighs the city's growing list of problems. In recent years, Slough has seen a sharp drop in overall life satisfaction, ranking among the bottom 10 local authorities in the UK in the 2025 ONS Wellbeing Survey. Despite its strategic location and proximity to major employers, Slough is increasingly described as a place where the cost of living is high, but the quality of life is low. Rising rent prices, overdevelopment, and congestion have all contributed to a city that feels more stressful and less livable by the day. Much of Slough's identity has been shaped by rapid expansion, but the pace of growth has outstripped the city's ability to maintain infrastructure and community services. Green spaces have been swallowed up by new housing developments. Traffic is consistently heavy, and schools are under pressure from swelling student populations. Social cohesion has also suffered. Many residents report feeling isolated and disconnected, with a lack of investment in public spaces and community programs. What was once a promising commuter hub is now struggling to offer any real sense of home or belonging. That's why more and more families and professionals are relocating to nearby towns like Reading, Maidenhead, or Guildford, places that offer better schools, more open space, and a stronger sense of community, all while still being within reach of London. Slough's challenges may not grab headlines like crime or flooding, but for those living there, the slow erosion of everyday quality of life is just as serious. If nothing changes soon, staying in Slough may mean paying premium prices for a lifestyle that delivers very little in return. Number 10. Aberdeen. Aberdeen has long been known as the oil capital of Europe, but that title is now becoming more of a burden than a badge of honor. Over the past few years, the city has been hit hard by the decline of the North Sea oil industry, with thousands of jobs lost and dozens of energy firms downsizing or relocating. While there have been efforts to pivot towards renewable energy, the transition hasn't been fast enough to stop the economic fallout. In 2024, Aberdeen saw one of the steepest drops in property values across Scotland, and unemployment among skilled workers reached its highest level in a decade. This economic downturn has had a ripple effect across the city. Local businesses that once thrived on oil money are now closing their doors. High streets are emptier, and the sense of momentum that once defined Aberdeen has slowed dramatically. Young professionals are leaving in search of better prospects, and students graduating from local universities are no longer staying behind. The result is a city that feels like it's losing its identity, caught between a fading past and an uncertain future. Public services, too, are beginning to feel the strain, with budget cuts affecting everything from education to mental health support. If you're living in Aberdeen and relying on the local economy to sustain your career or family life, it may be time to look elsewhere. Cities like Edinburgh and Dundee are showing stronger economic diversification and more consistent growth, especially in tech, education, and healthcare sectors. While Aberdeen still holds cultural value and natural beauty, its heavy dependence on a single industry has made it vulnerable. Without swift and serious regeneration efforts, Aberdeen risks becoming a cautionary tale of what happens when a city doesn't evolve fast enough. Living in the UK comes with its advantages: rich history, diverse cities, and endless opportunities. But as we've seen today, not all cities are moving in the right direction. Whether it's economic collapse, public service failures, dangerous pollution, or even environmental risks, the signs are clear. Some places are becoming harder and harder to call home. What's more alarming is how quietly these changes can take hold, until suddenly, daily life becomes more difficult, more expensive, and less fulfilling. Now, this isn't about fear, it's about being informed and prepared. By understanding which cities are facing serious challenges, you can make better decisions for your future, for yourself, for your family, and for your peace of mind. Many of the places we discussed have strong communities and proud histories, but that doesn't mean you have to stay and struggle if things are clearly going downhill. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is simply choosing a better place to thrive. So if you live in one of these cities, take a moment to ask yourself, is this still the best place for me? And if the answer isn't a confident yes, then maybe it's time to start exploring your options before 2026 arrives and change becomes even harder. Now we want to hear from you. Does your city belong on this list? Or did we miss one that should absolutely be here? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We put a huge amount of research, time, and care into making these videos for you. So if you found this helpful, please support our work by subscribing. It's just one click, but it means everything to us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.